to the bread kitchen. If you're having friends or family round for dinner, it's not uncommon to have bread rolls on the table, but it's a lot more fun if those rolls are in funky shapes. In this video I'll show you a very simple dinner roll recipe and show you 12 interesting and very easy ways to shape those rolls. Now I'm going to make my rolls with a very simple dough, so I've got 500 grams of bread flour, 280 grams of lukewarm water, 25 grams of melted butter, a teaspoon of dried yeast and a teaspoon of salt. Drop the yeast in the water, mix and leave for 10 minutes for the yeast to get going. Put the flour in a large bowl together with the salt and mix together. Now add the yeast to the flour, together with the butter, and mix to a smooth dough. And after a couple of minutes you'll end up with a soft and very slightly tacky dough. Now turn the dough out onto a lightly floured surface and knead for about 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes of kneading you should end up with this really soft, silky feeling and very elastic dough. Now pop the dough into a greased bowl, cover and leave in a warm place until the dough has doubled in size. This dough's risen very well, so I'll just turn it out, punch it down to get any gas bubbles out of it, and then I'll knead the dough for a couple of minutes. Now the next thing is to weigh the dough so I can cut it into 12 equal pieces. So we've now got 12 equally sized pieces of dough. Now for each piece of dough, take it, press it out flat, trying to make sure we've got all the gas out of the dough. Then pull it together and pull up opposite corners. And press in the middle and keep pulling up the four corners into the middle. And we should create a lovely smooth ball. So there are my 12 balls of dough. Now I'm going to flour this surface, take a ball of dough, and the first shape I'll make is a starburst. So I'm just going to press the dough out and make 6 slashes in the dough, not all the way to the centre. Squeeze the edges a bit, and then I'll transfer this to a lightly greased baking tray. Now the next one I'll make is a simple trefoil, so I'm going to cut the dough into 3 pieces roughly equal. Take each piece and make it into a nice smooth ball by tucking the dough under itself several times. And then I'll put them on the baking tray like this, close together but not quite touching. The balls will expand and glue themselves together. Next I'll make a bobble hat, and to do that I'll just cut off a small piece of dough, just a tiny piece, make it into a nice smooth ball. Take the remaining dough and make that into a smooth ball by folding the edges under itself several times. Press it down slightly. Then use a floured thumb and make an indentation in the middle. Pop the other piece of dough on top and transfer to a greased baking tray. Next I'm going to make a simple braid, so press the dough out into an approximate square, cut it into 3 roughly equal strips. Now for each piece of dough stretch it out a bit and then roll it up into a sausage. Need a bit more flour here. I'm going to roll this out to about 6 to 8 inches long. Now when I've got my 3 strips I'm going to pinch the ends together and then do a simple braid. Pinch the ends together, tuck under, tuck that end under, and there's our simple braid. Next I'm going to make a simple scroll, so I'll press the dough out into an oblong, fold the top third down and the bottom third up. Now roll it out into about 8 inches long. And having got it about 8 inches long, I'm just going to bend it into an S shape. Make a nice simple scroll. Now I'm going to make a knot, so I'll start the same way as I did with the scroll. Fold the top third over and the bottom third up. Press the seam together. Turn it over. Now I'm going to roll this out to about 8 inches long. So here it is, it's about 8 inches long. Now I'm literally just going to tie it in a loose knot. So here are my first 6 rolls. Now you can either cover them with film or pop them in a large plastic bag and leave them to prove for about 20 to 30 minutes. Next I'm going to make a circular braid, so I'll need to roll this out into a long rope. But before I do that, I'll press it out and fold it as I did for the scroll, and then roll it out. So I've rolled this one out to about 12 inches long, and I'm going to tie a loose knot in the middle. Then take this piece that comes over the top, tuck it underneath, and this piece that comes under the bottom, take it over the top, feed it through, press it all together in the middle, and that can go on my baking tray. Now next I'll do a simple twist, so I need to press the dough out again into a rectangle because I'm going to make a long coil of dough. Fold the top down and the bottom up, and then I'm going to roll this out to about 10 inches long. So here's my nice long sausage. I'm going to pick it up and I'm just going to twist the strands around themselves. Pinch the ends together really tightly. It'll try and uncurl, so press the ends down flat. Then that can go on my baking tray. Next is a spiral, so again I want a coil of dough. Press and fold. And then I'm going to roll this to about 8 to 10 inches long. Okay, now wind this into a very loose spiral. Okay, you want the edges just touching. For the next one I'm going to make a simple baton shape, so start as we do anytime we're making a long coil of dough. Fold it into thirds, press it over and roll it out, or just squidge it out to about 3 to 4 inches long. And that can go on the tray too. The next I'm going to make an artichoke, so I'm just going to make this ball of dough really tight and then I'll pop it on the baking tray. And finally I'm going to make a sort of croissant-y shape, so I actually need to roll the dough out for this. So I've rolled the dough out really thin, it's only about 1 millimetre thick, into a triangular shape. And I'm going to make it a neat triangle by trimming the edge. Then, just like you were rolling up a croissant, start at the bottom, roll, 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 and pull it round. Now, just as with the other 6, these need to either go under some plastic film or in a big plastic bag to prove. The first lot is about ready for baking, so I'm going to brush them with a glaze made from an egg yolk plus a tablespoon of water, and this will give a lovely colour to the finished rolls. Then you can sprinkle the rolls with poppy seeds or sesame seeds or fennel seeds or caraway seeds or cumin seeds or whatever you like really. Now pop these in the oven at 190 degrees C fan oven, 210 normal oven for between 12 and 15 minutes. I've glazed the second lot of rolls. Now I'm going to put some deep diagonal slashes into this little batony thing with a very sharp knife. And then with the round loaf I'm actually going to snip all the way around, cutting in slightly. And then I'm going to make a second row of cuts underneath that. Sprinkle some seeds on some of them, and then they can go in the oven just like the other rolls. Then when they come out of the oven, slide them onto a wire rack to cool. Boop, 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 boop. And there's 12 funkily shaped bread rolls that'll certainly get your dinner guests talking. When you work with such small pieces of dough, the results can sometimes be a little unpredictable. But it doesn't matter if the rolls don't turn out into the perfect shape, because they'll be a great discussion point at dinner anyway. I hope you enjoy making your shaped dinner rolls, And do join me next time in the bread kitchen.